Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. People ask this question a lot. They want to know, does their behavior improve? Do they mellow or do they get worse? And what is their fate as they age? These are all such great questions, and in today's Thriver TV episode, I'm really looking forward to answering them for you. But before I do, I want to thank each and every one of you who subscribed to my channel and for supporting the Thriver mission. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. And if you like this video, please make sure that you hit the like button. All right, let's get started. I want to look at how unconsciousness creates big cracks. And this is what I believe about living unconsciously. A lack of integration and peace with self will show up in one's life. We know narcissists shove and plunder their way through life in conscienceless ways, taking by charm, force, or manipulation other people's energies and resources to feed their insatiable false selves. On the surface, it may seem like they're having a wonderful time, prospering even, but are they really? I used to believe that the ex-narcissist in my life had it all, much of it at my expense, and was even thriving, whilst my life was stripped bare with no hope of recovery. Now I know what a grand illusion that was, because after my own soul recovery and self-partnering to come home to me, I now know how agonizing it is to be disconnected from self and not being integrated and at peace. And this is regardless of what stuff, results, successes, or people are achieved. For the narcissist, stuff and people are things. They are mere commodities, which are only attempts at self-medicating away the pain that is the narcissist's constant inner trauma that no achievements, people, or things can ever resolve. I love what George Carlin said this: trying to be happy by accumulating possessions is like trying to satisfy hunger by taping sandwiches all over your body. Such a good expression. This is the thing, the narcissist is always hungry and never satisfied. This is the urges of a disordered, egoic self that is insecure, empty, and self-loathing. It's the always trying to seek salvation from outside of self rather than self-partnering and healing oneself back to inner wholeness. And this is a never-ending, fruitless hamster wheel with no way off. The narcissist has crossed the line into being out of congruence with inner authenticity. He or she lies, schemes, and has agendas. Every time the narcissist is not operating from a place of inner and solid truthfulness, they are damaging the integrity of their inner being even more. The narcissistic personality grows in intensity, and the need for more lies and falsities to cover a fictitious life is necessary. The damage control of a life lived out of integrity means that there is always another responsibility to avoid, a bullet to dodge, scheme to hatch, and another source to groom because of the inevitable destruction of the current one. Let's have a look at losing the ability to get narcissistic supply. Mining the acclaim, notoriety, attention, and energy from others to buffer the narcissist's empty inner self with significance takes a lot of effort. This is a delicate balancing act for a narcissist. As a hugely insecure person who requires a big feed of narcissistic supply to escape the inner torment of feeling unworthy, empty, and insignificant, narcissists need to be effective regarding the amount of energy expended for the harvest that's reaped. As narcissists get older, they start losing charm, energy, and ways to get narcissistic supply. When the glory days start fading into the background and they lose their effectiveness to garnish supply, narcissists traditionally take it out on people who are still attached and copying their abuse. in relation to aging narcissists. This could be their spouse or a child whom they have groomed to dump their anger on, make responsible for their needs, and use and abuse. And if this is your plight, I'd really love you to watch my video, which is how to handle an elderly narcissist, so that you can understand how to take your power back and heal from being abused in this way. So let's investigate what an elderly narcissist without narcissistic supply is like, because this really is the same as a sick narcissist who can't get narcissistic supply. When they run low or empty without their primary drug of choice, which is the attention and the significance that self-medicates away the inner pain of having to be with themselves, narcissists can become totally delusional, manic, unreasonable, abusive, and quite frankly, may go insane. The mask may drop completely, whereby their disorder is front and centre for all to see. He or she may throw all caution to the wind and attempt frenetically and even pathetically to try to get narcissistic supply. And it's a shock when you see elderly narcissists unravel in this way and become a shadow of their former fictitious self. This is where the truth always eventually comes out. I really do believe we die as we live. A life authentically lived shows the results even in the declining years, whereas a life lived as a false self ends up where it was always going to go, a fall from grace that was never real in the first place. All right, as narcissists age, does karma pay them back? It's a big question. And the answer to this question is yes. However, despite any acquisition or outer appearances, it's important to know that the narcissist karma, which is the intense emotional disintegration and pain from living a life out of alignment with self, life, and others, is ever present. One's soul is not durably happy as a result of getting. Every soul can only reach wholeness as a result of beingness. The state of the inner beingness of a narcissist is disastrous. Their emotions being always reliant on the precariousness of obtaining narcissistic supply are damaged and unstable. As narcissists age, their out of alignment disintegration often extends to health issues as well as emotional and mental delusions. It's also common for them to have financial disasters as they lose the ability to hold up the house of cards that their life really was. Family and friends often turn away from them in droves, especially as the mask falls. And I can't tell you how many times I have heard exactly those reports throughout this community. And I want to share with you this true life story that encapsulates all of this. A friend of mine had a narcissistic father who was a high roller throughout his life. He owned Sunshine Coast penthouses, fancy cars, and he married several much younger women. Very, exotic, beautiful young women. As an old man in his 80s, he married a young Asian lady who got him to build her a home overseas and then divorced him, and she took the lot. He returned to Australia with Parkinson's disease and dementia and was under surveillance in the nursing home because of his inappropriate and often nasty behaviour towards staff and other patients. His phone was confiscated because he went on dating and gambling apps constantly. This narcissistic man ended up with nothing but humiliation, shame, and failure, and his family only visiting him when it was absolutely necessary. If you know of an aging narcissist who has fallen from grace, please pause the video and share the information below, because it may inspire others to know that this is what happens. Okay, so let's have a look at bringing our focus back to healing ourselves rather than focusing on narcissists. Of course, I understand why you're asking the questions about aging narcissists. Maybe you have an elderly narcissist in your life who is driving you crazy. Or possibly you've been hurt so much by a narcissist in your life that you're wondering how their life will turn out and dearly hope that it won't be good. But I really want to invite you to take your focus off the narcissist and firmly onto healing yourself, so that not only will you break free from the terrible affliction of narcissistic abuse and into the trajectory of your true self and true life, but also in no way will this be conditional on what does or doesn't happen to the narcissist as they age, because that's true freedom. Truly, he or she is in an emotional hell every second of every day. There is nothing to envy here. And I know that you may be feeling like you're in a total emotional hurricane too, with no way out, and that your life could now be horrific on many levels as you age. Yet I promise you, this doesn't have to be your reality at all. Unlike the narcissist, who is not going to turn inwards and start generating their only real emancipation and healing from emotional trauma, which is achieved regularly in this community by doing the quantum inner work, you can achieve this. And once you do this, you truly won't care less about what does or doesn't happen to the narcissist. And you will also know that your highest mission is always about honoring your inner being and your health. Because when you get that part of it right, I promise you that you will no longer be shackled by the guilt and obligation and pain that may have been allowing an aging narcissist to suck you dry. And it's then that your true self and true life can begin, no matter what age you are or what you've been through as a result of narcissistic abuse. I'd love to share with you this further resource to help you understand this, which is my article and my video on if you feel like you're too old to recover from abuse. Okay, so if it is time to heal and let go of wondering and claim your resurrection, freedom and joy, come join me, because I will show you how in time frames and ways that you didn't even know were possible yet by clicking the link at the top right of this video. So I so hope this video has helped. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe so that you'll be notified as soon as each new one is released. And if you like this, click like. Also, please share with your communities so that we can help people awaken to these truths. And as always, I'm greatly looking forward to answering your comments and your questions below. So until the next one, keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.